Hey, welcome to this Sunday Brunch Dhamma, 7th of June. This morning I'm going to talk about the third characteristics, and that is dukkha. Now, you come across dukkha when we learn about the Four Noble Truths. That's the first time we come across dukkha. That is our first understanding of dukkha. That there is dukkha in this world if we carefully look into it. And the cause of dukkha is craving. The origin of dukkha is craving. And there's a path towards the end of dukkha. And there is also the end of dukkha. When we come to know that and understand that and see that it is true, we go on to the path, learning more about the path. And that's when we come to see how dukkha comes about. And it comes about through dependent origination. We always tend towards dukkha. That's our tendency. We are passionate about things. Or we are adverse to things. Passion means both aversion and attraction towards things. So when we come to learn about dependent origination and investigate in dependent origination, then we come to see that contact is a starting point. The feeling is the result of contact. And feeling develops to craving, and craving towards clinging, which is attachment. And once we attach, we have a problem. Our heartstrings is tied to a person or to an object. And that's where suffering arises. So we come to the second stage of the path, is seeing the origination of suffering, how it comes about. And it comes about through contact, through feeling, through clinging, through craving, and then through clinging. So when we see that, and we know that the cause is our wrong perception of things. We don't see things clearly. We make things up. And that's we make up our own mental identity of things. Whether we like it or we dislike it. The liking of it leads to craving. Disliking leads towards aversion. And both of them cause suffering. So when we come to know dependent origination, we start reducing our gross suffering. We try not to get attached to things. We don't develop new attachment to things or new aversion to things. And whatever attachment that we can see, the gross one, we try to reduce it. Whatever aversion we have, we do the same. And as I pointed out before, we start letting go of becoming. Letting go of becoming, and then we see our attachment. Letting go of our attachment, we come to see our craving. Letting go of our craving, then we come to see just the feeling of like and dislike. So when we get to that stage, or just craving and letting go of craving. Let craving arises and let it go. Then we come to the third stage, The third stage is investigating the five khandhas. When we do that, we want to root out the tendencies that's within us, root out the strong attachment within us. And in Pali, it's called anusaya, something that is deep within us. That's when we investigate the five khandhas. You want to see, like I said, it's three characteristics, plus the one other characteristic of asubha, which is the ugliness of things, to balance the beauty we see in things. So we have to practice the asubha when we see beauty in things. Now, in this practice, we are coming to know about dukkha, but in a different form. It is not in the gross form that we encounter in dependent origination, where we are attached to. We are trying to see things that we are deeply attached to, and that's the view of self, right? We know we have a self, but we don't know what the self is like. What is it? Is it real? How real it is? But we do know it causes suffering, and some of us don't know that the self causes suffering. But we keep on looking at ourselves, trying to understand ourselves, and trying to improve ourselves, and that doesn't really help, right? Because the self is a view that we have created, right? And the only way is to get rid of that view, but we do not know. We thought self is an entity we can improve. Self exists in us, right? But the Buddha pointed out it is not so. You have to investigate self, and then to find out it is only a view that you have. It's the mistaken view. The self that you have is something that you created. Self of others is something you have created throughout your life. You get this information, you think this belongs to self. This comes out of self because you do not know dependent origination. Process of dependent origination is the process that is natural. The only thing that can stop the process is mindfulness. It stops it there. It stops it going from one stage to another. Now, in this third stage of investigation, we come to know, we are told that we are attached to the body. So we want to break that view of the body is beautiful. Right? It doesn't mean that we want to see the body is extremely ugly and then we are disgusted with it. That's not the way. We want to see the ugliness of the body so we can come to the middle point. That middle point is equanimity, neutrality of the body. Now, when we begin the path of investigating the five khandhas, say for example the rupa, the body, well, there's always the feeling of liking it when you see the beauty in the image. And there is the feeling of disliking it when we start seeing the ugliness of it. seeing all the stuff that is in our body, the smelly stuff, the disgusting stuff, And then we try to reach a point where we are neutral to it. We are equanimous to it. But in the beginning, because of our three roots of greed, hate, and delusion, when we see the body, we are either liking it with delusion, disliking it with delusion, or neutral to it with delusion, right? We do not actually see the body as it is yet. We haven't come to the point of equanimity yet. But in that equanimity, or the beginning of this equanimity, or neutrality, is due to not knowing much about it. Right? So when we start to practice, the first point that we come to see is seeing things as they are. Right? So we reach the point, you say, oh, I've seen the body, I know what it is. Sometimes it looks like this, it looks beautiful. Sometimes it looks ugly. Right? And sometimes, it just looks as it is. Right? At that point, we still haven't reached the state of proper equanimity yet. It is when we come to see things as they are, and then we become disenchanted with it. That's when we really see it. That's when we really see things as they are. Now, when we are seeing things as they are, we become disenchanted because of this dukkha, this satisfactoriness, right? We cannot see dukkha directly because it is fine, so we have to see it through anicca. We have to see it through anatta. Right? That means the things that we're looking at, the body, is impermanent. We look at this body, it is anatta. We have no control over it. That is a process, it goes by itself. We cannot stop it from falling sick. We cannot stop it from aging. We cannot stop the body from dying. Aspect, no control over it. And when we start seeing that it is impermanent and is aging and dying, then we see the dukkha in the body. And then we get disenchanted with it. That's seeing real dukkha. When we become disenchanted, then we can become dispassionate. It is at this point of dispassionateness that we have this equanimity, real equanimity. This equanimity comes from wisdom, from really seeing things as they are. You only see things as they are when you reach the point of disenchantment. That means you finish the point of seeing things as they are. If you can have only to finish a particular process and move on to another process, right? When you move on to another process, then only you know that you're finished with the process, right? So when you're at the point of seeing, things as they are, you haven't quite finished it yet. So you have to know you only finish it when you become disenchanted. When you become disenchanted and you pass on to the stage of dispassion, that's the time you've seen clearly the dukkha. So what does it mean being disenchanted? When you're disenchanted, it could range from sadness, about the things you see, sadness of our body, or fearful of our body. Now, if your meditation is not strong, then it can progress to fearfulness. Not strong in the sense that if you have developed just the first jhana or the second jhana, but if you develop your meditation to the third jhana or the fourth jhana, then this enchantment is not so strong. It is like kind of sadness, because you have a lot of joy in your body, you have a lot of happiness in your mind. So it counteracts this disenchantment. So that's the process. When you come to the stage of equanimity, and your further investigation of the body will take you towards vimutti, that's liberation. That means you're liberated from the enchantment of the body. And you only know you're liberated from it when you reach the level of asavakayena. That means the destruction of that defilement, attachment to the body. That's when you become a sotapanna. Or in other cases, you become sakadagami, anagami, and arahant. So that's the dukkha aspect. The fine dukkha, the dissatisfactoriness. And you can only get to that, to seeing the anicca aspect or seeing the anatta aspect. And when you see the anatta aspect of this, and you reach the breakthrough to seeing the dukkha, you are going through what they call the gateway of emptiness, or the gateway of void. That means you're seeing emptiness. Emptiness in the body. That the body is without essence. Whatever that you think of the body is all made up by your mind. So that's the path of emptiness. You only make a breakthrough when you see dukkha. The door you go through is through the door of emptiness. You can also go through the door of impermanence. You can also go through the door of dukkha. But going through the door of dukkha is very difficult. So most people would either go through the door of anatta or through the door of anicca. So the same process goes again. You look at feeling. After you finish with feeling, you look at perception. After you finish perception, you look at sankhara. So consciousness, you don't look at it. That's the word you only do when you reach the state of an anagami. So in all this process, you want to let go of the body, let go of the feeling, let go of perception, let go of thinking. But you hold on to consciousness. You want to hold on to the jhana consciousness that you have developed. It is not the time to let go of consciousness. It is the time to cultivate wholesome consciousness, to cultivate joy, to cultivate happiness, right? To cultivate peace, to cultivate the bliss of the breakthrough, the bliss of contemplation, the bliss of anupassana, the bliss of insight. Right? You can enjoy that. You can hold on to that. Right? It's only at the stage of the anagami that you start letting go of this thing. Right? So the path is that you have to develop beautiful consciousness, highest states of consciousness. The path of the Anagami is totally different from the path from the Sotapanna up to the Anagami. Because when we talk about the path of the Anagami, we are talking about very, very fine attachments. Attachment to the form world, attachment to the formless world, attachment to ego, and finding out what avijja is. Right? So at the state where you are below an anagami, the foundation is too thick to be able to appreciate all those things. Right? So you have to develop those things. Right? Develop the attachment towards your jhana, attachment towards the arupa jhana, and all the bliss. Your attachment to a level of emptiness that will give you some bliss. So when you do that, you have to do that to get to that level. And when you do that, and you reach the level of anagami, then you know, you can see clearly those attachments. For things that you want to let go of, you must be able to see it clearly, to be able to let go of it. If you don't see it clearly, you don't even know it's there. You can't even let go of jhanas if you don't know what jhanas. You cannot let go of the form and formless world if you don't know anything about it. So you have to develop that first. So at every stage, the release comes to this enchantment that's seeing dukkha. That's the third. Characteristic. Now that you've listened to this Dhamma, understand a bit, hopefully you'll contemplate it, investigate it, and take it up, as your practice. And you gain a lot of merit. Now you've gained some merit, you want to transfer the merit to your departed relatives, so you get more merit. So now I'm going to chant transference of merit, and you can transfer the merit to your departed relatives, so it supports them. Yatha varivaha pura pare purente sakaram neva meva ito dinam petanam upakapati ichitam patitam dumham kipamiva samijatu sapi purentu sangapa chandu panaraso yatha Manijoti raso yatha Sapitiyo vivajantu saparogo vinasatu mate pavan Vantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava pivatanasili sanicham Buddha pachayina Jataro dhamma vadanti ayuvano sukhang balang bhavatu sabba mangalang akhantu sabba devata sabba bhutanupavena satha soti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang akhantu sabba devata Sapatammanupavena satha soti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang Rakantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanu Pavena Satasoti Pavantu Te